I hope I am not branded as a traitor to the country. But if you study very carefully international law, an arbitration was not set up correctly when we claim our right to the Kalayaan Group of Islands. I was breaking my brains trying to find out from international law books authorities what is an arbitration tribunal. And everywhere, an arbitration tribunal calls for three parties. The two who are claiming whatever they're claiming, and between the two, the selection of an umpire. And when arbitration is carried out, it is always voluntary. Under the UN Charter, it is always voluntary. However, in the UNCLOS, there was a provision or an attachment or something that made arbitration as a mechanism for solving compulsory under the UNCLOS. But the Philippines, when we ratified and approved the UNCLOS, we opted out of that provision, which means hindi natin gagamitin yung compulsory arbitration. We just didn't want it. All right. Without even us talking with the Chinese or wherever, equally the same, the Chinese opted out of that provision. So, both the Philippines and China cannot invoke compulsory arbitration under the UNCLOS because we both opted out. So what is the remedy? Dalhin natin sa UN. Under the UN Charter, which is voluntary arbitration. Philippines wanted it. Ayaw ng China. Voluntary. They say, you cannot tell China, "Hoy, you have to do it." Because, no, it's voluntary. So what did we do? We went and proceeded to set up an arbitration panel. That is not even an arbitration panel. That's just a Philippine panel handpicking the people who will render the very issue that we want at binabayaran yun ang panahon nila. Ikaw ba naman kung babayaran ka at andun ka, hindi ba bibigay mo yung favorable position? That is why China is questionable. Now, I'm not trying, please understand, I'm not trying to be traitor to my country. I love my country. Pero hindi tama. Sino may sulsul nyo? Kayo nang draw the conclusion, ano? However, the very fact that that decision was given, it has brought to the attention of the world that we have a basis to do some claiming on the South China Sea of the KGI. Pero it does not bind anybody. It's just a position taken by the Philippines, and with the arguments we're giving, ito importante at bakit importante sa atin sa Pilipinas. But that's, to me, an opinion of a plus for us. But it does not bind China nor anybody else in the world.
Wala ka naman talagang magawa. I said, the constructive occupation of the West Philippine Sea was completed by the singular act of China not retreating. Yan sa international law, ganun yan. Ikaw yung umalis, ibig sabihin, hindi iyo. At bakit umalis? Itong si Secretary Albert, usap ng Amerikano, takot ng gira. Takot na, sana hinayaan na lang nila. Ang totoo niya, sus Maria, ayaw ko lang magyabang. Kung mangyari uli yan, ako, I'm putting China to, I do not want any quarrel. But in a situation like that, if repeated in my administration, I think there will going to be a, taka lang, hindi ako walis. At kung may barko ako dyan ngayon, yung Coast Guard nandyan, hindi rin ako mag-alis. I will not. Marami, sabi ng Secretary Lorenzana, mga resupply natin, yung mga Coast Guard natin, if they are driven away, I would tell them to stay put. I am addressing myself to the Chinese government. We want to remain friends. We want to share whatever it is. Sinabi ko naman sa inyo sa Chinese government, I'm not so much interested now in fishing. I don't think there's enough fish really to worry about. But when we start to mine, when we start to get whatever it is in the bowels of the China Sea, sa ating oil, dyan na ako. But by that time, I will send my ships there. I will send my gray ships there to state a claim. Yan masiguro ninyo. Pag kinuha na yung oil, kung anong mga nickel dyan, precious stones, that would be the time, because that is the time that we should act on it. Hindi ngayon na yung pahabol-habulan lang dyan. Ano ba naman? Habulin yung isang reporter na ano. Ako, totoo yan. Pag mag-umpisa na sila ng drill ng oil dyan, sabihin ko talaga sa China, is that part of our agreement? Because if it is not part of our agreement, I'm going to also to drill my oil there. If you own it, I own it. I do not want to quarrel, but that is how. Noon ko pa sinabi yan, yung pagkatapos na nag-usap kami ni President Xi Jinping, na sinabi ko na I will get my oil also. Sabi niya, please don't. We just leave it that way. In the meantime, so because, nandyan yung mga cabinet members. Anyo, kasi the chief of staff ko pa noon. Dinala ko kayo para may mga living witnesses ako na may ginawa. Pati yung mga military na nagdududa, wala akong ginawa. Minuka ko talaga. Andiyan kayo, dyan, Anyo, dyan, Esperon, si Delvin. Sinabi ko na, one day, I will drill my oil there and mine whatever is ours. Sabi niya, Secretary, si ES, nandyan sila lahat. Sinabi ko, ngayon kung habulan na ng maghabulan lang sila dyan, sige, bigyan ko sila ng 5 Coast Guard. Habul-habulan lang nila dyan, maglaro sila. Kung sinong mas mabilis. Ngayon, kung pagdating na magdating na yung mga drill ng oil dyan, mahirap na yan. Yan ang, noong ko pa sinabi yan, sasabihin ko ngayon, ulit, baka nakalimutan. Hindi nakinig si Carpio. Yung papel-papel mo, wag mo kong isali dyan. Walang mangyari dyan. Ano, you know, the Chinese government will just give you a finger. Wala kang, hindi mo matakot yung mga yan. Because they firmly believe na kanila talaga yan. Kontra sa atin na it is also our considered opinion that it is ours. Yun. Sana maintindihan, kinig lahat. Yan si Carpio, you just Huwag ka nang sumali sa politiko, wala kang alam dyan, para kang buang mga, yung grupo mo. Puro tinta mo pag eleksyon, ba, malampaso. Wala man kayo ginawa para sa Pilipino.